What is going on, guys? Carnage Chris here, and today I'm going to be talking about a little bit something that you guys know I'm very passionate about, and that's esports and competitive Call of Duty and competitive gaming in general. And before I get into that, right here you're watching a knife-only free-for-all win, and I end up winning this knife-only free-for-all, I think 30 to 18, I want to say, and there was one kid trying his heart out, and I ended up beating him, so I was really happy about that. And I get about, I think, 8 or 9 throwing knife kills, so it was really important to watch that as well. So let me just get straight into this right now. Right now, I was watching the esports, or the Call of Duty Championships, and it just finished, and Complexity ended up beating Envious 3-0 in the finals. And everyone knew that was going to happen, where Envious was going to lose to Complexity, because Complexity is a strong team, and every time I watched Envious scrim Complexity, they were always getting destroyed, they were getting beaten, except in their searches, and I thought they would actually take a search off Envy, or Envy would take a search off Complexity, but that did not happen. They actually got 3-0'd. So I'm going to take you through a couple of teams that I thought were going to win COD Champs in their bracket, and I'm just going to talk to you about that. So right now, Trident T1 Daughters, big Aussie team, Australian team, and they ended up beating Vitality Returns 3-1 and beating Rise Nation 3-2. They ended up getting to the round 3 of the winners bracket, and they ended up facing against Optic Gaming, and Optic Gaming beat Team Caliber and beat Strictly Business. They 3-0 TK, which I had TK losing in the first round, actually, and that actually did happen. I was surprised that they won 3-0 Optic Gaming, but I had Optic Gaming in the top 4. I thought they were actually going to be top 2 when I was watching it, but after seeing what happened with the Envious game, obviously I could not say that they were going to be top 2. But I'll take you through Optic's route to the finals and Complexity's route to the finals. So Optic had to play T1 Daughters after they beat Strictly Business 3-2. They were up 2-0 against Strictly Business. Strictly Business came back and almost won, but Optic won 6-2 in the Warhawk S&D. They won 6-2, and then they faced Trident T1 Daughters, and they're an Aussie team, like I said before, and they're a really good team as well. And their S&D game is very strong, but Optic beat them in all 3 respawn game modes, and they ended up going to the finals. They guaranteed top 3, and they were facing off against the winner of FaZe and Complexity. Complexity ended up playing Wild Gaming, beating them 3-2 in a best of 5. Surprisingly, Wild almost beat Complexity in the first round. Then Complexity 3-0'd Xfinity Gaming and 3-1 FaZe. And after FaZe dropped to the losers bracket, that losers bracket was tough, man, and I'll get into that in a minute. So then Complexity played Optic Gaming. They beat Optic Gaming in the domination, lost the S&D, lost the Blitz, and it went down to a domination on Sovereign. They were up by 22 points, I think it was, on the domination on Sovereign, and going into the second half, and ended up choking it and losing by like 30 or 40, I think. They got demolished the second half. And then they went into the Warhawk S&D and lost 6-0 in Warhawk, which I was surprised that they lost that bad. And then they ended up playing, then when they went into the winners bracket round finals, I guess you can call it, the grand finals, Optic Gaming now still playing for top 2. They would have to face the winner of the losers bracket, which the losers bracket consisted of Vex, Vitality, Team Caliber, Envious, Immunity, Vitality Rises, Wild Gaming, and TCM Gaming. And then you would also have, along with Envious as well, like I said before. So TK and Envious played off against each other. That was heavy hitting right there. TK ended up going down 2-1 and then tying it 2-2, but losing in the S&D on Octane. And I actually had the winner of that winning the bracket going into the losers bracket, because I knew that if Envious beat TK, they were going to end up facing Optic, and they're always a tough opponent against Optic. For some reason, they have their number, and that's what happened against Optic, obviously, if you guys watched it. So they ended up beating TK, beating Epsilon Esports 3-2. Then they 3-0'd 3 straight rounds in the bracket. They beat Vex 3-0, Trident T1 Daughters, they beat 3-0, and then they beat Strictly Business 3-0. Strictly Business, I had in my top 4. I think they actually placed 4th. I want to say they placed 4th, 4 and 5, because Trident T1 Daughters is well played there. But I think Strictly Business, since they had the higher seed, will get the 4th seeding. Then Envious ended up playing Optic Gaming in the losers bracket finals. And what happened there was Optic ended up losing 3-1. They actually had to play. They won their domination, lost their S&D, which I was not surprised that they lost their S&D. They lost the S&D 6-4 and won their domination by, I think, like 15 points. So it was tied 1-1, and they ended up playing a Warhawk Blitz on Warhawk, and that's a very, very bad map for Optic Gaming, and I knew that that was a bad map for them, and they went into that actually playing really well. They were up 6-4 with about 1 minute left in the game, and they ended up losing the lead. I think it was actually a minute and 30 seconds left, and they ended up losing the lead, and they tied it. Envious tied it, and then in the second half, they actually had to replay the map. They were up by 1. Optic Gaming was up by 1 going into the second half, and ended up losing by 1 going into. They ended up losing by 1, and right there you could tell that all the energy was wiped from Optic Gaming. They ended up playing the domination on Sovereign. Optic's domination is very strong, but Sovereign is their worst map, and Envious is strong on Sovereign, and it showed because Envious destroyed Optic Gaming. They beat them by about 30 points. And this is what I personally think. I think if Optic would have went and beaten Envious, it would have been so much better of a finals because it would have been a best of 11. Optic was down 3-2, best of 11. Complexity would have had to win 3 games. Optic Gaming would have to win 4 games. And it would have been a great series to watch. It's actually, it would have been a best of 11 series, but if you're a player in your own, you're thinking of it as a best of 7. You have to win 4 before they win 3. Or really actually like a best of whatever. But they ended up losing to Envious, and Complexity ended up steamrolling over Envious. They beat him by about 15 the first half, or beat him by 10 the first half of the strike zone domination, and then they beat him by about 10 the second half. And then in the S&D they beat him, and in the Blitz they beat him by about 5 points, and 5 is a lot if you're coming from a competitive standpoint. Again, especially against pros, 5 points is a lot. So what happened was Complexity ended up winning, and that was about it, really. I had Complexity winning it because if you remember from my last my comm over it, I said that Complexity would win it, but I had Optic Gaming. I thought Optic Gaming would finish at least top 8. I actually said top 4 in one of my comms. I can't remember, but I said top 4, and they did place 3rd, and no one believed me. Optic Gaming came in there. No one believed me that Optic Gaming was a strong team on LAN. I mean, they've always been a strong team on LAN, but never online. But everyone thinks that online is completely like the same as LAN, but it's absolutely different, and it proved right there because Complexity always strong online and on LAN, and Complexity has lost to a lot of teams online that they shouldn't be. Like, they've played wild, they've scrimmed a lot of teams like Curse LV, Curse NY, Curse Youth, and they've lost to them online, but they're the strongest team of all, obviously, so they have bragging rights, and I don't see this team going anywhere unless Karma has a bitch fit or something, because Karma's a very hot-headed player, I guess you can call it a hot-headed player, so I could see if anyone to leave, it'd be him next year, but he's probably going to stay with that team as long as possible. If you guys have not known, he left Envious to join Complexity, and that was a big thing for Envious because they were looking for a main Slayer. They picked up a couple of players and Study and Nameless, so that was really big for them as well. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this. As always, guys, this is Carnage Chris. I hope you have a great day. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. It'll be down in the description below, and please subscribe. Peace. Go, baby. Let's fucking go. First try doing this and I go 30-18. I'll take that shit, baby. Let's fucking go. Oh, dude, that was killing.
You get money, they started hating.